yes, 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 yes.
That gag, honest to God, felt like true Star Wars to me. Like it was very appropriate for what I want the Mandalorian to be. I'm so happy to put that in there.
That was so funny. Who thought it'd be a good idea to give Baby Yoda a button that says yes and no?
Hey man, it's a great idea.
Oh man, that's not gonna get old anytime soon, huh?
No, I can imagine
Oh
like they're gonna sell little figures of
yeah.
like Grogu with like what a button in the left hand where it's like no, button in the right hand it's yes, and like
Oh my god, I could see kids annoying the crap out of their parents with that toy.
hmm it's gonna happen.
Oh man. Well, listen. Speaking of not getting old, you know what's not doesn't get old? Rocky joining our podcast. Rocky, welcome back for the third time. The third, fourth time. I don't even remember.
This is the third time. Has
Hat
anybody been
trick.
here a fourth time?
I don't
I
think
feel like
anyone's been
one
here.
person. It's April.
April's been here for a time, but we also had like a reoccurring person when we did the Game of Thrones. So that one was
Oh, Richard. Yeah.
Richard.
Okay,
Richard,
so
yeah.
who's how many times more do I have to come here so people will?
I think Richard had 6. I think he's because there were only
Mm,
6 episodes of Game of Thrones or 8
hmm
episodes of Game of Thrones, and he was only on for 6 of them. So he might have the record.
God, could you imagine having me for all 6 episodes? You guys probably would be shut down by episode 2.
That's why we do your episode so late at night because we can edit it and make sure nobody's listening live.
Oh, I thought it was so late at night, so like no one's listening.
Yeah, exactly. So we
exactly.
can edit it later. Oh man! But everybody, welcome to our late night episode of The Mandalorian. We will be covering The Mandalorian, and then the next episode we're gonna be covering some updates that are happening in the world of Star Wars, in the world of uh, DC, in the world of WB and Marvel. So stick around for afterwards, and we'll kind of share some of the news and some of our insight into some of these news afterwards. But let's just dive into it. Let's just dive into the Mandalorian. The episode starts off with the woman who basically fried Dr. Pershing's brain and
Elia
turns
Kane. Yep.
yeah, and then she basically goes up to Moff Gideon and does a report. And we're like, yep, typical. And then she's like telling him what's happening. And she's like, well, this planet was supposed to be taken over. And she's like, well, they had help. And then when they found out they had help from the Mandalorians, Bo-Katan and Din Djarin squad, Moff Gideon's like, whoa, wait a second. They hate each other. That's not possible.
hmm
And then he's like, all right, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. What did you guys think about that? I saw that coming. I knew that was going to be it. What about you guys?
I mean, I knew that Elia Kane was definitely still working for Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
When I saw the Shadow Council, I'm like, they're bringing back some Star Wars Legends lore here.
That's a dope name, the Shadow Council. I love that.
Yeah. So, Star Wars Legends. I don't know if y'all have looked into that, right? But one of the hologram characters, Paleon, right?
Yep.
He, shit. What am I trying to say here? God damn it! I lost my train of thought.
He was played by Xander Berkeley, who you might remember from shows like 24, and he's been in tons of stuff. I think Walking Dead, lots of stuff he's been in.
Yeah. Him coming here is really cool. The other guy, what's his name?
Hugs?
Hux, yeah, General Hux, right?
Yeah.
That is definitely from the books, so I was really happy to see that. It's funny because the guy who is playing General Hux here, he is the brother of the guy who played
Brother or father? I heard father.
So in the show it's father and son, right? But in real
Yeah.
life, they're actually brothers, the two actors.
Mm.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, this is really on the nose. I love it. So, and then of course they name drop Thrawn, and y'all know how I feel about Admiral Thrawn.
Oh,
Very happy
man.
about this.
That's
really cool,
going to be
like,
good.
I think in the next episode we're gonna talk about how it's all gonna tie in together. But seeing the hints of Thrawn everywhere just makes me so happy. And then him getting the the Praetorian Guards. That's a shout out to the sequel trilogy, episodes 7, 8, and 9, because the same
Yeah.
Praetorian Guards that were defending
Snoke.
Snoke, right? And
Right.
so it's interesting because like right now, Dave Filoni has a task of trying to weave the shows here and the sequel trilogy mess, but make a good story out of it. So I don't know how he's gonna do it, but I'm
Man, I
very
feel
excited.
so bad for Dave Filoni. I feel like he's just tasked all the time to just rehabilitating the movies. Yeah, he spent like half his life doing it with Clone Wars
Right.
and Rebels with the prequels, and now he's stuck doing it with the sequels. I think they finally had the bright idea of, you know what, maybe we should give this guy a movie. That might
Yeah,
be.
right.
Uh,
They should call him Dr. Filoni because that's all he's been doing. He's been operating on the Star Wars franchise.
no,
He's been
truly.
saving this franchise, not just operating. He's been saving it.
Oh man, he is a plastic surgeon of Star Wars.
I,
It feels like what do you call it? Disney just threw acid on his face and he's just over there giving a plastic surgery, trying to make it look resemble anything like a person.
Yeah, but maybe that's when he works best because a bunch of fans are now complaining about season 3 and how it's slow and has no focus. But hey, as the only one in the world that enjoyed episode 3, I kind of like the callback. So
I'm happy, man. I'm
Yeah,
so
I
happy
haven't
with
had
this.
more complaints. I'm just here for the ride, man. I like it.
I'm sort of
it's-
enjoying hanging out with these characters.
Me too.
Even though I may agree with the criticism that there may not be sort of an overall focused plan for the season, I'm kind of just fine hanging out with them.
I find that really hard because I feel like this season actually has more of an overall focus plan than some of the other seasons. Like in season 1, he's just like wandering aimlessly, doing stuff, and then at the end we learned that nothing. Like we didn't know anything special about Baby Yoda. All we knew is he was saving him and didn't want to kill him, and that was it. Like we had no idea where this was going, and I feel like that was more aimless, and nobody minded.
It's I think the concept of when something is fresh. And new and shiny, you get 2 seasons before people start to hate it.
Yeah. Fair. I could see that.
Uh,
Well, speaking of people starting to hate stuff, how about like people talking about how the New Republic, people are already starting to hate them because they're just filled with bureaucracy and stuff. How is that?
That's
They're
very
like,
on the nose for a certain political party here.
oh my god! I was like, yeah, I can understand why the First Order came back so quick, man. You had the opportunity to turn it around, and all you're doing is like bullshit paperwork and bureaucracy.
Hashtag the Empire was right.
Say what you want about the Empire. At least they were efficient.
Exactly. Hey, they brought order in a chaotic world, something Grand Moff is still trying to do. I don't know why these misguided zealots with laser swords keep trying to destroy it, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Well, tell us how you really feel about the Jedi.
Oh man. Well, look, Moff Gideon does say that, like, whether it was a Jedi, whether it was the Mandalorian, it's all the same to him. So he's just trying to put into his new Dark Troopers, which we'll get into at the end, which I thought was really, really cool. But Moff knows exactly how to retake, Mandalore, and he knows that, what he's got to do, and he's got to take them all out once and for all. Now, the interesting thing about this episode is called The Spies. And the whole time I'm waiting for them to drop who the spy is, and they didn't. And that's probably one of the most engaging thing about this episode, because they left me wondering, who's the spy?
Well, we know one right now. It's Elia Kane.
I don't think she's the spy that they were referring to.
Them. No, you're right. She's not the spy this episode is referring to, and everyone has theories on it. The big one is that it's the armor who's the spy.
I know, that's the big one. I don't want it to be that one.
I don't want it to be either, but
I feel like just to see y'all's reactions, I would love it for it to be the armor.
like, what might reaction be? Be like, yeah, we called it. We knew.
Yeah,
this.
That's true. It would be smug disdain.
The thing is, like, what's going to have the biggest payoff? And, like, the armor, like, what would be her reason to do it? I don't understand.
Well,
like, what would be her motivation?
Death Watch.
I don't know.
Think about
you know what would make sense? If somebody kidnapped the armor, put on her costume, and used the voice changer and pretended to be the armor. That I would
No,
go for.
but would it be sort of did that switch recently happen, or was it like a Mad Eye Moody situation where it was always the case?
Mad Eye Moody.
Ooh.
I think that's the way he's going with it. I'm going with the theory that the armor is a spy, and she wants to get rid of all the Mandalorians that aren't following the way. You know, always keeping your helmet on, all the other bullshit that goes with it, right?
Hmm.
I think she wants to get rid of every other Mandalorian, and they're the only Mandalorians that survive. Therefore, this new society that they're going to grow will be of Children of the Watch.
That's wild.
Mhm.
I
So
don't know.
in the previous episode, I sort of thought she came around to Bo-Katan pretty quickly. I don't know how you guys
It
felt.
was too
I
quick.
yeah, it was a little too quick. She's
Mhm.
like, you know what? I'm just gonna ignore everything that I've been preaching, and it's gonna be like, hey, you know what? Why don't you just join us? No problem. And then you know what? Why don't you just get an exception to take off your helmet and bring
Right,
everyone together?
right.
It
I mean,
did seem a little
almost
sus.
she sort of just took her word that she saw the mythosaur, right?
Yeah,
Was there? There wasn't any fact checking to,
I
you know.
know.
I mean, not that it would be easy, mind you, but yeah.
Right. It was too convenient, too quick. I don't buy it. So
Well,
I
the
do ascribe to the theory that the armor is a spy.
the other thing is, if they want to take out the fleet, the spy has to be on that ship that's going up to meet the fleet. And who are the people
Mhm.
that are up there meeting the fleet? Two sick people and the armorer.
Mm.
Mhm.
But I guess here's my question: if it turns out it's not the armorer, when we go back and sort of contemplate on the previous episodes, she did accept things a little too quickly. So is that just at that point, does it just become bad writing, or does it become something interesting that didn't pan out?
Oh no, it's good writing because it confused us all, and it could be a red
Okay,
herring.
I got you.
And
Oh, red
Okay,
like
herring,
they knew the whole
yeah.
time we would think it would
right.
be this, but
Whereas, like
no, it's
in
probably
reality,
Axe
it's genuine.
Wolves or something.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Axe
I
Wolf is
I like
another
that.
possibility. He's also a very possible person. He just seems really salty about losing to what you call it, Bo-Katan.
well, first Bo-Katan, and now in this episode, past Vizsla before
Yeah.
Grogu broke it
Oof.
up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
But
we'll get to Pat
also,
Vizsla later.
um, incredible backstory as well for Bo-Katan that was sort of revealed in the
Yeah,
towards the middle of the episode. I think, yeah, I thought it was told beautifully. I thought I think she's incredible, great
I
on the
mean,
show.
character development right there. Like,
Yeah,
It's
I
enemies
it,
are
quite
known,
like the
I
but they'll
liked it a
never
lot
backstory.
give
too,
up.
and I
And
really
yeah,
liked Din Djarin's like conversation with her. It's like, hey, I don't care that you have this sword, and none of these people care about the sword either. What we care about is you're somebody with honor, and because of that, I will fight beside you for life. Like,
mm-hmm.
he's an honorable person. Um, I don't know. We'll see what's gonna happen when it comes to when the spy is revealed. So I don't know. Let's see. All right, so let's talk about when they go to Navarro. There was a light cruiser there, and they were figuring out like who it belongs to. And then he brings out IG-11, which is refashioned to be IG-12, which is just like a mobile way for Grogu to walk around now, which is like basically he's in the dead body of IG-11 in his corpse, just operating it.
Is that what Project Necromancer was?
it gives it gives me very much Doctor Strange operating his zombie body from the
Zombie
other
vibes.
world.
I love it.
Oh
Um,
man.
and now more importantly, they get to sell another toy, Grogu and IG-11.
It's all
Of
about the
course.
toy. It's all
Yeah.
All
about
about
the
the
toys.
toys. Yep.
Yeah. And you got like the Ferrex, and they're like, oh, bad baby, no squeeze me.
The Enzellans, yeah.
Oh man. All right.
Little
So
Babu.
then we got Grogu just being super cute and annoying, and got getting fruit and eating stuff now that he has a body and he can reach everything. I thought that was really cute. I think it could get old real fast, but in this episode, very cute. Loved it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then Bo-Katan talks to all the people that came from that fleet, and she tells them what they want to do, and she looks for volunteers. All of these people volunteered. Din Djarin was the first one. The second one, and I don't know this Mandalorian's name, but she was the black woman with the little like headband or whatever. She also was a little eager to volunteer, which made
She
me
could be the
like,
spy.
she could be the
Mhm.
spy.
No, was she eager to me? I mean, so I just finished the episode about an hour back to
Yeah.
prepare for this. Sort of what I remembered, I could be wrong, but from what I remembered, she just gave a glance towards left and right, and she saw no one else was volunteering, and it was also, oh, fine, if no one's gonna do it, fine, I'll step up.
I don't know.
That's sort of the feeling that I got, but
I feel like she gave a weird look instead of a
Mm.
glance look. The look was a little strange. It lingered too much. It was almost like what's that thing? The like I don't know. It just gave me a vibe. It just gave me a vibe. Is all I'm
Gotcha.
saying.
Okay.
It could be
I feel like I'm
it could be
looking too
wrong.
much into it. Like
Another red
maybe it
herring.
was just a look.
Yeah.
Just a
I'm
look.
like,
Right?
that's that's
Sometime a green
interesting.
door is just a green door, right? Who knows? It's like one of those things. All right, so they go down to Mandalore, and a giant like pirate ship shows up, like a land pirate ship, and turns out there's real Mandalorians still there who never left.
A land sail. Yep.
I kind of call bullshit on that. I don't know who these people are, and if there were Mandalorians here the whole time, that seems a little sus. And they knew she was Bo-Katan just from her voice. Little sus. I don't know.
That I actually believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like what she specifically said, like these are night owls. When
Yeah.
she saw the vehicle coming toward them, right?
Yeah.
She's like, these are night owls. They have that crest, which
Okay.
means these are from the faction that Bo-Katan is from. I would not be surprised if they knew her before. So this one, yeah, it may seem sus.
Mm-hmm.
Too obviously of a red herring. I think they actually knew her the whole time, and this is just something that happened.
I'm not saying they're the spies, but I can saying the spies can be conspiring with these people. Because here's the thing.
I doubt that.
The reason is the armor is going back up to the plane. What's the point of killing all these Mandalorians on the ground if the fleet up there is not being harmed? You got to go after the fleet too. And Moff Gideon said, I'm going to destroy every single one of them once and for all. So somebody's got to be attacking the fleet up there. And there's only 3 people headed up there.
Oh, you're saying the 2 sick Mandalorians
Yeah.
that were on that ship are the
Yep.
spies? Or...
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody's got to be at the. It's either the armor or the 2 sick people, because somebody's got to take care of the people up there, right?
Who knows?
Like they could go up there just to turn off the shields, and then someone's gonna attack them. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, or
We'll
just
see.
disrupt the comm system, like or like the radar or whatever. I could see that.
Yep. All right. And then we get Lady Bo-Katan talking about her great speech, but she also says another thing where she's like, "Listen, no one can defeat the Mandalorians. We can only defeat ourselves with our factions," which I think is like amazing. Which is honestly how I feel about religion in general. I feel like there's no racist person that could ever make me want to give up my religion. But sometimes I see people from my own religion and I'm like, oh, I don't want to be associated with you, man. It's our own people that get us. Sometimes it's so wild. Like I rather be hate crime than spend any minute on Muslim TikTok. I'm sorry.
Should we start talking about why self-hatred is a beautiful thing? Is this a good forum for that kind of thing?
Yes, Rocky. Please
this is
enlighten us.
Man.
Well, since you asked,
Typical. Just 3 brown guys hating ourselves. Yeah.
I don't hate myself. I just hate some people.
you hate us. You hate the other.
No,
two
I
people
just
on this
think
shit.
in almost every culture, and it's everywhere. Like no matter what religion you are, there's always people
Right.
who like to weaponize religion to oppress marginalized groups. And whenever
Yep.
I see people do that, it pisses me off and makes me not want to be associated with that group. That's just
Yep.
how I feel. I don't know. Like I am someone who likes to always champion the oppressors, and I feel like not the oppressors, the oppressed, right? Against the oppressors. And I feel like that's what religion is really. It's supposed to be a vehicle where you can make sure like the poor, the hungry, the like anyone who's oppressed is being supported. And if you're doing the opposite of that, then you don't really understand the religion really. Is my opinion. I don't know. I'm no expert.
No, I think that's a very interesting point, only because sort of the origins of Star Wars, as George Lucas has described them, was sort of very anti-imperialist.
Right.
It was sticking it to the man, and especially he said before that he based a lot of the characters and the looks on the Viet Cong, and he said numerous times before about that his feelings on how the United States, while fighting imperialist empires, became one. and
Mm-hmm.
he's been very sort of vocal about it. There's a great interview with him and James Cameron that folks should listen to. It's on YouTube if you have the time. But he goes into this, and I mean, the Last Jedi in particular questions the whole philosophy of Jedi's.
Right.
The lack of but Yoda talks about how they've sort of lost their ways. You can't stick too closely to the texts. That you need to free up and evolve how things work and that sort of stuff. Failures, the greatest teacher are our I forget the line exactly, but our students live beyond our failures or whatever that
Mm-hmm.
line is, which I think is great, like a great line by Ryan Johnson. So I think there's a theme there of religion and oppression like throughout the series since the very beginning. So I think I mean, you're probably dead right about catching a couple of those things.
Could be, could be. All right. All right. So then they go down and try to find the forge in Mandalore. Uh, and they right before they get there, they're attacked by another monster, another
Yes.
Mandalorian dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of those up there. And then when they get there, they get lured into a trap. And these people who lure them in a trap are wearing Beskar. And then as they
Mm-hmm.
fight them, you can tell that yeah, they're wearing Beskar, but they're not Mandalorians because they can't fight and they're getting their ass
Mhm.
No.
kicked, even though they're outnumbered, which, pretty dope. So it's like, all right,
That tracks, though. I mean, Mandalorians are the elite warriors in the galaxy. Like,
yeah, they
there's
don't
a
even,
reason Moff Gideon is scared of them being there.
yeah, they're just built different, right? That's the best
Mm-hmm.
way to say it. Mandalorians, we're just built different.
Quite
uh,
literally, yeah.
yeah, I
Uh,
love that. And then, but then they do get trapped. And then we see Moff Gideon's new fit, which I think looked dope as hell. It had the little
Mm-hmm.
horns. It had like the Darth Vader look. What did you guys think of Moff Gideon's like new fit?
Man, can we just give a shout out to Giancarlo Esposito? The man has been cast as a bad guy ever since Breaking Bad, but
Yep.
no two characters are the same.
Wow, great
His
point.
his inflections, the line reading, his movements. You think about Gus Fring or can't remember his name in The Boys at the moment, but they're even though they're similar in that they're the antagonists, they're very different people and just the way he presents themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No,
no,
that's
Gus is
very
tough
the
to
true.
do.
quiet, like lurking kind of thing, and then Moff Gideon here is like all confident, like, yeah, I got this. Y'all are all
Mhm.
too dumb to see my plans. Like, and
Right.
they were, quite
Yeah,
frankly.
they definitely were.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really really cool, and he kind of just like mocked them quite a bit, which I thought was really really cool. But then as they're all leaving, Paz Vizsla was like, you know what, man, you guys, I'll Latham cover fire. You guys go, and we're like, okay, great. Then you see the dark saber come out. They're all getting away. I'm like, all right, Paz, let's go. Let's wrap it up. Let's go home. He's like, no, I'm staying, and this is the way.
I
I
mean,
gotta say,
what a
Uh,
way
man.
to go, though. Like, he got the true warrior's death there, right? He went
Yeah,
down fighting, taking down 200 of Moff Gideon's men for
bro.
one of him. Like, just
I've I need to
unfettered
apologize.
rage.
I need to apologize because in the last few episodes, I've made fun of this motherfucker for bringing that big ass fucking gun everywhere he goes, even if it's just climbing a mountain with this big ass gun. Um, but I take that back because that big ass gun got its money's worth. That thing was like
Mm-hmm.
glowing red, and then he hit someone with it as just glowing red from
it,
the fire.
so my Star Wars lore is not as strong as y'all's. Is this the first time we've ever seen one of those things overheat?
I have never seen that. No.
Yeah, in the movies and the shows, this is the first time we've seen a gun overheat like this.
Okay.
Except maybe in Clone Wars. In Clone Wars, they had some other guns that did overheat, but
Okay.
not like a handheld minigun.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like a
Interesting.
Gatling
Yeah,
gun.
because I never recalled. I mean, I knew we hadn't seen it in the movies for sure. I was wondering if I missed it in one of the animation shows or any of that.
No, I mean maybe there was earlier in, I believe episode 2 when they were on Navarro taking out the pirates. It may have slightly overheated then.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, gotcha.
right, but beyond that, I don't think
Episode
it ever
2 of the
of the season
Mandalorian,
of
not
the season.
episode 2 Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, yeah, episode.
Yeah, got it.
Right. This overheating gun. I mean, this is just brand new. Like with how much it overheated. That has
Yeah.
never happened before.
And look how many bullets it had, right? Most guns don't have that much. This giant Gatling thing. Oh man, it was really cool, and he just knows how to shoot. Get between the Gatling armor. I mean the Beskar armor. Now
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
even know if Beskar armor would have like protected from that big of a gun, but you never know.
No, I mean that was piercing through. Like
Yeah,
you're not safe. Take a few of those hits, you're gone.
yeah. And then after that, Big Boy took them out with like some clotheslines, some wrestling moves, some
Mm-hmm.
spine busters. He was going at them, but then finally. The big reds come and they
Mhm.
finally took them down with their little weapons, which were the little
Yeah, the
dope
Praetorian
little.
guards.
Yeah. Oh man. When I saw them, I was like, no way.
Yeah.
That was a cool moment. That was a very cool moment. What do you guys think about that?
Um, this was, I guess, a good way to sort of see how powerful they are. Because
Mm-hmm.
when we saw them in the Last Jedi, of course, they went up against two Force users, who are obviously very powerful. So
Right.
they weren't going to win that one, but just I guess to show a difference of like even a extremely skilled warrior
Yeah.
will get his ass kicked. So just imagine how powerful Ray and
Yeah.
Ben Solo are.
That's true. They also did that in the end of season 2 because we saw Din Djarin struggle to defeat one of those like black
Right.
robots, and then Luke comes in and destroys like a dozen of them, like they're
Right.
butter, right?
Yeah.
This is what happens when your midichlorian levels are too low.
Yeah. I mean, you just
Yeah.
got the cheat code, man. You're just built with a
just
cheat
just
code.
just get more midichlorians, man. Like, why would you not be a
So
force
easy,
user?
right? We just gotta drink
Yeah.
some more
Yeah.
Easy, right? Just drink
They got
more.
like
It's easy.
they just built with a game genie in them.
Yes. Come on, man. If
uh,
a girl in Jakku can do it, like, come on.
oh man, oh man. So we watched the whole episode. We talked about the spies. What else did we miss? Did we miss anything else?
I'm trying to think. Rick Famuyiwa, I'm gonna give him a shout out, the director of the episode.
Yeah,
I'm so hyped. He's had some of the best episodes, and I
yeah.
believe he's gonna do the finale as well next
As
week.
well.
Ooh, is he?
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited for him. He was supposed to write and direct the Flash way back in the day,
Oh
back in the
wow.
Snyder days.
Wow.
Uh,
I am
you know,
so sad that didn't happen.
but it didn't work out. So I'm glad to sort of see him around, and he's doing great.
Yeah,
Mm,
glad to see that for sure.
damn, that's crazy, man. I don't know what I'm gonna expect for the finale. There's only one more episode, so I don't know what they could do. But you'd be surprised. Sometimes they like pack a lot of stuff in for the finale. I think it's gonna leave us wanting more, but also satisfied.
Do we
Which
know how long it is?
It has to be at least an hour, man. There's no way it's
I
not
hope
gonna be
so.
extended.
Maybe we'll get like a cool 15-minute episode.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're like, tune in
Just-
for the Ahsoka show this
No,
summer
just
and the
it-
Star Wars movie whenever that's coming out.
Well, like they did
Wh-
mention Thrawn, and I feel like that's just a setup for the Ahsoka show.
Yeah. Jazz, you use the word when, which makes you far more optimistic than me.
You don't think the Mandalorian movie's gonna happen?
No, I'm still in the if category whenever Disney announces something.
Mm.
They've been on point, man. Like,
They're not like DC.
No, well, the thing is, how many Star Wars projects have been canceled? Like, think
That's
about
true.
it.
yeah,
Rogue,
recently they
Ro-
have been,
Rogue
you're right.
Squadron, which is Patty
Mhm.
Jenkins' movie, got canceled. Ryan Johnson's trilogy still no movement on that.
The Game
They
of
say
Thrones
Taika
guys,
Waititi
they got
is
removed.
doing it, but doesn't exactly. Yep. I feel
Yeah.
like a bunch of people have been promised Star Wars projects. Just it's just there.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Star Wars projects, a bunch of them have popped up recently, and one of our homies from Miss Marvel, Sharmeen Oboy-Chinoy, will be directing a new Star Wars movie featuring the return of Daisy Ridley. What do you guys think about that?
I'm hyped.
I'm so hyped.
I'm so happy, not just for the director, but Daisy Ridley in particular.
Yes.
Because she kind of struggled after Star Wars to find roles, and obviously she got a lot of flack from fans and wasn't treated as well. So I'm glad that she gets a second crack at it. And
I'm right, and,
really
I'm interested to see how it goes from
It
there.
wasn't her fault either. Like, a
No,
lot of
no,
that stuff that happened was bad writing, bad directing.
Yeah.
She was just subject to the whims of whatever happened with Disney and the contracts and the
Right.
directors.
I mean, I would argue she made Ray incredibly likable and did as much as she could have with the material she was given.
I thought
Agreed.
Rey was
Um,
incredible in The Force Awakens. I loved her, was obsessed. And then The Last Jedi, I'm like, okay, where are they going? And then obviously with the whole Palpatine stuff, I think like it
I'm
just got.
curious, where are folks on The Last Jedi here?
I like The Last Jedi, half of it. I like the whole Rey and Ben stuff. I did not care for that whole casino heist thing. I
Okay,
think that was
got
the
it.
lamest part of the entire whatchamacallit movie. But I
Right.
love Ray being a nobody. I love the what's the name? The maneuver. What is that maneuver called? I forget what it's called. Where the light speed right into the freaking thing. I love that part. I don't
Oh,
know why people hate.
I got you.
Oh,
Right,
when I
right,
went
right.
sat in the theater and everyone's like, "Did the sound cut off? Is the movie broken?"
I
Broken.
I
love
remember
that
Right,
that.
scene.
Yeah.
right.
I absolutely love that scene. I don't know. I
Uh,
liked it a lot. I just
okay.
the whole heist thing I could have done without.
Jazz. I'm just curious on like where people are.
I have mixed feelings about The Last Jedi
Okay.
simply because I didn't like the story itself, right?
Okay. I
I
got
feel
you.
like the story was a reset on everything Episode 7 did,
Mm,
which I thought Episode 7 was fantastic, so why would you
right.
reset it?
Right.
And that was, Rian Johnson's, idea that he was going to carry forward, which
Right.
never happened.
Right.
So because of whatever happened, I didn't like that story.
Gotcha.
There were individual sequences in that movie that I absolutely loved.
Right.
The story of Rey was great. Even Luke, I know people have mixed feelings about Luke because he was willing to kill
Right.
Ben.
Yep. Yep.
And they're like,
Yep.
no, Luke's a good guy. He would never do that. And I'm just like, okay, whatever you guys say.
Right. So
right.
I used to be that guy. Just
Oh, really?
so the first two times I saw it, I hated it. I couldn't believe it. I hated. I thought it was
Yeah,
terrible.
that was my
I
gut reaction the first time.
I couldn't imagine it, especially because I mean I guess to give your audience a little bit of clarity, I was a huge Luke fanboy growing up. I was one of the weird ones that like I didn't know Han Solo was cool until I talked to other people. Because for me, it was always Luke. Luke is who I always wanted to be. So to me, this was sort of the fact that he died being a failure, having not rebuilt the Jedi, I couldn't handle it. So that was, but right now I think I haven't done a full 180, but I'm pretty close to it. I think it's a beautiful.
You know what I gotta say? The Last Jedi is the most beautifully shot film out
I
of
agree.
all of them.
Yes,
It's so
Yeah.
visually
100%.
pleasing. It's not even funny. When the red sand gets into like you see it,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
it's just so beautifully shot, man.
No, it's an incredibly. I think not only is it a really. I think it discusses a lot of the core themes of Star Wars really well, but more so, yeah, it's technically I'd say probably the best made Star Wars movie. Empire, of course, is probably the close second, but
Mhm.
I'd argue Rogue One is up there. I mean, whether or not
Rogue
you
One is
One
just my
is
favorite, period.
favorite of all
right,
time.
right. I mean, there's folks out there that don't care for it, and which I understand, but I'm saying technically it's a brilliantly made film.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But yeah, so you did a 180. Why?
I did a 180. Well, I think what it was a part of me needed to grow up. I think that's just me being honest, to sort of accept that, even though our heroes win, life just doesn't work that way. And I
Yeah.
think it gives a sense of like a gravity and a reality to it. Number one, I think the second part, I mean, being completely honest with you, is I found myself going down sort of the dark space of the internet to find criticisms of The Last Jedi. And the people that I found, I was like, okay, that sort of fundamentally changed how I looked at that movie.
Interesting.
Because for them, no, for me, what was, I hate that character choice. I don't know why they would do that. I mean, I thought that casino stuff was boring versus their criticisms, which were, how dare a woman is this good or this powerful. And I think that to me, that was sort of, I was like, okay, time to backtrack and look at it. And I'll say this: I think Yoda and Luke's moments in that movie, particularly, I think they are the best of Star Wars.
Yeah.
like truly.
That
But,
was true Star Wars. I agree. Yeah.
because I think I think that entire conversation summarizes the entire thesis of Star Wars. Everything from sort of abandonment and failure, and your job is just to make sure the next generation does better. And
Yep.
it's Qui-Gon did that with Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan did that with Anakin in the end.
In the end, yes.
Even though a lot of murdered kids, but whatever. You know, Anakin and Yoda sort of did that with Luke, and now Luke did it too, right? So I get it. You're not going to be 100% successful, but you do your part and you make sure the next generation's better off. And,
Now that you
that's
say
something
it,
I can.
I actually appreciate it more now. Like with you
Yeah.
saying this,
Like
I
like
never thought of it that way.
I get it. The only thing I will say though, there's a deleted scene from that film, which is Luke reacting to Han's death. I think Mark Hamill gives a fantastic performance in that scene, and it shouldn't have been cut because the entire film, I was sort of wondering how is he not even reacting to his best friend's death.
Yeah.
True. All right.
Well,
I
for those
want
of
to.
you who haven't seen it, the deleted scene, definitely go check it out. It's a tearjerker.
True. I do want to pivot because we don't want to waste some of our time. But there's also the Dave Filoni movie and the James Mangold movie that will come out, and I think one of them, I believe, is going to be of the High Republic, which is going to be 100 years before the prequels, I believe, right?
Yeah, it's the story of the first Jedi. I'm actually super excited for this one. Probably the one I'm most excited for. The interesting thing about James Mangold getting this gig is Lucasfilm must be very happy with Indiana Jones.
Really?
Because he just directed it. They are premiering that film in CinemaCon in 2 weeks. Oh, sorry, not 2 weeks. So I think sorry, my mistake. They're premiering it on May 16th at the Venice Film Festival. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
But that's over a month before it comes out. So they must be pretty confident showing it to critics in the media a month before and giving this guy a Star Wars gig. Like one can assume that they must be pretty happy with Indiana Jones.
I mean, they have given something to somebody before and then changed their mind after they got bad reviews, like the Game of Thrones guys after the last.
Yeah,
so you never know. We haven't seen it yet.
That's absolutely that's true, and for all I know, things can crash and burn. But it's just, I mean, I'm guessing based on the test screenings that they got, the results that they got back, the fact that they're premiering it so early. Seems that they're pretty confident about what they have.
Well, it's got to be better than Crystal Skull.
Weirdly enough, I rewatched that movie. It's not as bad as you remember it.
Really?
I'll say that. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh, yeah.
And weirdly enough, Temple of Doom doesn't hold up as well. And I don't mean just because of the food or the racist stuff. I just mean pacing wise, it's all over the place. But the third act is a masterpiece.
I love that movie, but it's
I love it too. But
nostalgia because I remember watching it and I was like, "That's a Mishpuri! Oh my god!"
One thing I want to clarify: the movie of the First Jedi and the High Republic are two separate movies. The First Jedi movie will be 25,000 years in the past, and the High Republic will be 100 years before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know we just kind of jumped in here and there. Just
right.
We don't want to confuse our listeners.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Because the High Republic is when the Jedi are at their top, at their highest, or something,
correct.
Right?
Yeah. And the first Jedi was millennia ago.
Yeah, and they've released a timeline, kind of like almost like the Marvel timeline. The thing, hey, this takes place then, this place takes place then. So it's really, really interesting. And speaking of the timeline, something that's going to be taking place in like the Mandalorian timeline is the new Ahsoka show that they showed the trailer for, and that trailer was so good. A little bit of just nostalgia porn, but still really, really good. If you're a Rebels fan, you were probably shitting bricks because you're like, I just did not see what I saw.
Yeah. When I saw the back of what is it, Mads Mikkelsen?
Lars Mikkelsen.
Lars Mikkelsen. Yeah, he's playing Thrawn. I'm just like, I am so hyped. The big bad is here.
Yeah, that was really exciting. There is a little controversy, but I'll talk about that later. What are you gonna say, Rocky?
Did you guys see the leaked picture with Lars Mikkelsen's face, like the full shot?
Nope.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
With the blue and everything?
Yeah, with the blue and everything. Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. There was a leaked one floating around Twitter, and then a couple sources confirmed it.
What were your
Oof,
thoughts?
I need to Google. I need to look. I need
Um,
to find
it's
this.
a little blurry because it's obviously
Because it's
um,
leaked,
Right.
yeah. But I
I
don't know.
think it
I'm
has a
sure.
watermark on it too. But yeah, I guess like a rough idea.
I wouldn't be so mad about it because I'm sure they're still editing. CGI is so backed up that they're probably like not even close to having their final rendition
Yep,
of it.
yep.
No, I'm not too worried about it. I mean, the way She-Hulk came out in her first trailer, you were like, "What? Look like a
Yeah.
cartoon." I wouldn't worry about that. But what do you guys think about some of the casting? In terms of like who's playing Hera, who's playing Sabine, who's playing
All
Ezra.
amazing. All
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
So a lot of people have beef with the Sabine's casting. Not that they have anything against the actor, but Sabine is supposed to be canonically South Asian, and they changed her to East Asian. In Rebel, she's played by a Bengali woman. She's voiced by a Bengali woman, and Sabine is also a South Asian name or a Muslim name.
Mm.
So people were expecting her to be South Asian and also a little darker because if you compare like the color tones, she's a little bit more dark skin. So there's a lot of controversy for two things. Number one, they don't have a South Asian actress, and two, the Asian actress that they have is very light skin. So
But
they're claiming changing the race, and they're saying a little bit of colorism is involved here when
the
it comes to
first one I don't
casting.
mind because her last name is Ren, and
Mhm.
that is historically an East Asian name.
Sure, sure.
The colorism thing, I mean, sure, if that's what you want to fight about.
I feel like Dave Filoni created these characters, and Dave Filoni is part of the show. And if he's the creator and he wants to cast a person different, it's up to him, right? If it was
Yeah,
somebody else taking the reins and somebody else changing something that he originally thought that this person should be, and he wasn't for it, then I'd be like, all right, But honestly, it's not something I'm gonna lose sleep over. It would have been nice if she was South Asian, but I'm whatever.
yeah.
I
I mean, I
mean,
It's
feel
still a
like
person of color.
yeah,
I
I'm
feel like
happy.
anytime you have these sort of casting changes, like with Little Mermaid or any of these things, I feel like 9 times out of 10 it works out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, there's obvious disasters, like the Last
Ghost in
Airbender, for
Shell.
example,
Yeah.
when they switched up the castings and it was a mess for more reasons than that, but that too.
Yeah.
The Lion King remake,
Mhm.
also a mess,
Yeah.
but I feel like 9 times out of 10 these things sort of work out. Last of Us worked out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
true.
not
I'm
upset
hoping
about that one.
this one works out.
I'm not super upset about it, and I know there's a bunch of people that are, and I think it's fair that you're upset about it,
It's a fair
but
criticism, right?
it's a fair criticism. I think so. But it's not going to make me feel one way or another about the show. I'm
Right.
still super excited. We still have Ezra Miller, who's going to be Middle Eastern, which I think is exciting.
As
That's
Ezra
appropriate.
Bridger, correct?
I said Miller. Whoops. Wrong Ezra.
You got it.
I
Definitely
was
not
like,
that one.
man, I would love if Ezra Miller was in this show. That would be fantastic. Not
Then you
playing
can
a
complain
character
about the
just as
casting.
Ezra Miller. Just
Then
Just
you can
put
complain about the
Ezra
casting
Miller
all you
in
want.
Star Wars
in
as
Star Wars.
himself.
Yeah, as man, Palpatine would be avoiding Hawaii like the plague.
Just throwing chairs at people, like
Yeah.
building a cult.
This is the real Dark Order here.
That's right.
The
That's
shadow of
The Shadow Council. Starts Ezra Miller,
starring
Andrew
Ezra Miller.
Tate. Just keep going. Make
Just
Oh
like-
god. Oh god. Could you imagine Andrew Tate in the freaking thing? Oh,
Man,
man.
I if that Flash movie is any good, God help us.
Oh man. All right. Well, there's also a movie called The Acolytes. Acolytes is coming out, which should be pretty exciting. So I think that's a really interesting one. I don't know much about it, but I'm excited for it.
What is an acolyte, Neebs?
I don't know.
Google
Let's
it.
see. I don't know, but they said it's going to be Frozen meets Kill Bill. That's how they described it. Frozen
What?
meets Kill Bill. Yeah.
Who described that?
The showrunner said that they described the vision, which is set in the High Republic era, as Frozen meets Kill Bill.
Okay.
So-
I'm down.
Yeah.
So sort of like oh my god, what's I'm completely blanking on the X-Men character. She's Frost.
Oh yeah, Emma Frost.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That holds up. That's hold
Yeah.
up. Also they showed I think a video from Andor season 2, which
Yes.
God, Andor, if it's anything like Andor season 1, God, it's gonna be great.
Andor was a masterpiece.
I
Like,
love
I don't care what
Andor.
anybody says. I know
No.
people are like, oh, it's slow. Oh, it's I don't have the attention span for it. Shut
It
up,
was-
sit down and watch it.
It
Andor
so
was
All
the
the
good.
episodes are amazing.
Andor was the first time where I sort of felt the material was better than the franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like, man, you guys you're writing Star Wars shows. Like, I feel like you guys should be writing like, you know,
Yeah.
If you
like
take the
prestige
Star Wars
drama.
element out of that show, it probably would have done even better, in my opinion.
Right? Yeah. I was just like,
It would
man,
have been
you guys
critically
are-
acclaimed.
I'm like,
Yeah.
this is incredible, but you guys want to use this in the Star Wars show? Okay. I was like, yes. Yeah.
I mean, it lines up though with what we want, and so
It
I'm-
does. It does.
It's great. I'm hey,
Such
look,
a great show.
with all the bad shows out there to complain about, this is a great problem to have.
Yeah. True.
Mhm.
The next show that we're talking about was a Jude Law show, which is going to be called The Skeleton Crew.
Mhm.
That's going to be interesting. So the series was developed by the person who directed, I think, by Chris Ford and John Watts, I believe. So Spider-Man No Way Home guy. Wow. John Watts.
Ugh.
That's
Exciting.
going to be interesting.
Are we
Yeah.
John Watts fans in the chat?
I like him. I have no problem with John Watts.
I
Gotcha.
mean,
It's not my It's
sure.
not my favorite Spider-Man, but I think he did a great job with his trilogy. Like the
Gotcha.
trilogy as a whole, altogether, I think fits great. Because when you think about all three movies are basically his origin story. It's not just one origin
Right.
story. It's three movies combining to become one origin story of him being an actual Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, I think John Watts has a good handle on the character. I think he understands like character and tone, at least the tone they're going for.
Yep.
For me, I just think his directing is flat. For me, like the compositions of the shots, the way the camera moves, it's just very sort of dull, textbook, shot, reverse shot, just your most basic boilerplate composition. It's not creative, it's not inspiring. It doesn't. I mean, you see the Raimi films and you're sort of blown away.
Yeah, I get that. It's not like, I don't know how to describe it, but
there's no style. There's no style. It's not the right word, but I guess there's not an interesting way the images are being communicated. They're just
Yeah.
pretty standard.
there's no flavor, there's no seasoning.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, good thing is that Jude Law is like the main guy, right?
Yeah.
And he is actually a big fan of like Clone Wars. So I think if they, even though if the director is going to be kind of boring, right? If they have enough creative input, I think it's going to end up just fine.
Okay.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't a South Asian woman directing one of the episodes as well?
Yes.
One of the episodes, maybe. I don't know. They didn't mention that. So
It's one of them, yeah. No, I
yeah,
vaguely
it's,
recall
I think it
seeing
was-
that on Twitter.
I think it was something Patel, if I remember.
okay.
I
Also,
might be off,
the
but
thing that I'm probably super excited about is season 2 of Visions. God, I love Visions. It was so
Visions
good.
was fantastic.
Oh my god, it was just like one unique story after another unique story. I mean, it was some hit or misses. There were a few stories that I was like, ugh, like the one with the band. I did not love that one, but I don't know. It's some
Hey,
stories are
man.
just really good. It's not canon,
That
but it's still
band
very
and that
enjoyable.
drummer, they were really good.
Wasn't Boba Fett in that one? Ugh. But you know what the thing is, like, it's not canon, so they have so much freedom to do whatever they want. I love that.
It's like Marvel's What If. Yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's cool. I like that. I just think that stylistically, some of those were just so well done, especially the anime style.
Oh, the first one, fantastic.
Yeah. The other thing is season 3 of the Bad Batch. I've been enjoying the Bad Batch. Like, it's been growing on me. I was like, first season, I was like, second season, like I didn't watch it for a while because I didn't see nobody talking about it. But then when I sat down and watched it all together, I'm like, this is growing on me. I really like it.
Yeah, third season, I'm so happy to see Deadshot come back.
Mm,
Wait, did I say Deadshot? What's his actual name?
Crosshair.
Crosshair, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second. That's
same
not
thing.
Same.
thing.
Same with you,
Same
say.
thing.
No, I'm very excited to see Crosshair come back and like be one of them. spoilers, if y'all haven't seen it, stop listening right now. I was very sad when Tech died. Like, that broke me. Like, it was such a good scene. That whole end sequence, the way they did it. Bad Batch was phenomenal.
I don't know if you should have said that.
I gave everybody a warning,
I
okay?
think you gave like 2 seconds.
That's true. I'm not caught up, so that was interesting.
I am so sorry.
No, you're fine. No, I actually love spoilers. I'm a big fan
Also,
of spoilers.
I don't really think that actually happened. So we'll see. I personally don't believe that happened. To be honest with you, I don't think so. I think he'll be back.
I cried, dude. Like, I was bawling when that happened. Like,
I just don't believe it. So
you don't believe that Jazz can cry, or that happened?
Both.
Okay.
Jazz is like a stone. You can't get any moisture out of him.
That's right. Maybe something nice happened, which is why he was crying, or like he was rooting for it. Was it Tech?
I literally gave it away.
Right. He was rooting for Tech to die.
All right. Well, listen. The other thing, and this is not a show or a movie that I'm excited for. Jedi Survivor. If you guys played, what's the game? Fallen Jedi for from EA Sports. Such a good game. So much fun.
All the Star Wars games are good, man. Like Knights of the Old Republic. I mean, they're
but they're all really good. But this one I really love, and it's got the kid from Shameless. He's the main character. It's just really, really good. And then, like, I don't know if you played like the first game, but there's a big twist at the end, which you just like love when you find out. You give like like shocked. You're like, no way. So I don't know what's going to be happen in this. And right now, you don't even know if this is canon or not. So there's nothing in here that says it's not canon. It could easily fit into the Star Wars canonical storyline, but I really, really love this game. The gameplay is so much fun. The storyline is really great. I'm a big fan, so I'm excited for this game.
So I know I read something a while back where like they said the games are going to be part of canon, the movies are canon, the shows are canon. Like, you need to do everything to really get Star Wars. And it's a great strategy to make money for Disney. But at the same time, I think it's cool that we're exploring all different media just to get all the stories out of it.
You know what? It does encourage people to do different media that they might not normally do. Because if you read the book, the Phasma book, you actually learn more about this like Shadow Council, and you learn more about Hux and like all these other people who are building this empire, and it gives people who normally wouldn't read a book a little bit of like, hey, why don't you try this out? And who knows, man, maybe a kid is like reading this book and he normally wouldn't be reading a book. So I think it's great to like dabble outside of the media. There's a lot of things that you'll really, really enjoy. I don't know.
Right.
But we're coming at the top of the hour. We talked about all the stuff that was mentioned in Star Wars Celebration. We talked about The Mandalorian. Anything we missed, guys?
Not that I know of.
No, nothing I can think of.
I think we covered everything.
I think we covered everything too. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Rocky. I don't know if you want people to find you or not find you. We can barely find you.
You can try. No, I'm just kidding. You can follow me at Rocky's Hologram on Twitter. I tweet once in every 6 months, so you can. That'll be fun.
Nice.
I can imagine people like tweeting you for 6 months, and you're like, "Oh, I missed
That's
this."
like,
Finally
and
returning.
it's just me doing a countdown.
Yeah, it's like the 4-hour work week. You just like pick like an hour that you're gonna check emails, and then like outside of it, you don't check anywhere else. Love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And guys, we're thinking about adding a new section to our program. I think what we're gonna do is either Friday, Saturday, Sunday. One of those dates, we're gonna record Salam News with basically all the entertainment news that happened that week. We're going to summarize and talk about and bring on guests, and it's going to drop every Monday. And maybe after Ramadan, we're going to start doing that. Stuff like we're doing today.
Scripted. We're not going to just, wing it like we normally do.
I mean, it won't be scripted, but we'll have
we'll
a plan.
Have notes and
we'll have a
plan.
Outlined. Yeah. What we'll do is throughout the week, we'll take notes on Star Wars news, Marvel news, reality TV shows news, any kind of stuff that's happening, and we'll just recap it. And that'll be a good way to bring our nerd culture people and our reality show culture people, bring them together, and it could be one show you guys can all watch together.
It'll
So
be
I think
great.
that'll be really really cool. And we'll also have guests and we'll do celebrity interviews. So we're going to be starting this new thing in season 4, which just started last week. So be on the lookout for that. As soon as Ramadan ends, this show episode is going to drop every Monday.
Yeah, we're about what 9 days away from Eid.
Yep, we're 9 days away
Yeah.
from Eid. So be on the lookout, and we'll have fun guests every single time. Until next time, guys, that's all we have for today. And salam, nerds.
Peace.